Buongiorno, everybody. I hope you guys are all having a good day today. My morning has started off pretty good. Got up really early, a little earlier than I wanted, but you know, gotta get up. I love mornings though. You know, I used to hate morning, like I hate getting up, but I love being up early, if that's kind of weird sounding. But anyway, today I'm gonna show you a couple of cool things that you can do that are kind of like quick and easy, but good for summertime. You know, we're coming into the summer and this is the kind of stuff you want to have. So, you know, in the wintertime, some people will still grill outside, but if it's cold or whatever, having a nice grill pan or a griddle, I'm going to show you this. It's really heavy. It's not hot right now. This is a griddle. So this side is grill, this side is flat. It's cast iron. So it cooks awesome. When I'm making pancakes and things like that, when I gotta make a whole bunch of things, I use the flat side. Right now, I'm gonna show you what I do with my chicken, and I use the grill side. Now this is a Pampered Chef grill pan. This morning I actually made two little teeny pieces of steak for some steak and eggs for Pasquale and I. I put them in here, no grease. I just made it really hot and then put them on. It was like it was on a grill. They were so good. So anyway, so you can grease it a little if you want. I recommend you using like a, what do you call it? A basting brush. Because you just want, you know, because if you pour oil in here, it just goes down in the nooks and crannies. So you take this and you brush it across all the ridges and it works really nice. It's a little kitchen tip. Okay. Also, never have a handle, just saying, I've said this before, never have your handle facing out because you know you could go do this. And if you're like me and you have a stove that's on the edge, you know, it could go toppling over. Anyway, I'm only gonna use the grill pan right now. I'm not gonna use the griddle, but I just wanted to show it to you. All right, so one of the things I do when I have an excess of chicken, I don't have an excess right now, but I'm gonna show you what I do when I have an excess of chicken. All right, so I'm gonna start the chicken first and then do my other thing because I can do that while the chicken is cooking. So now, I do have my nice butcher block cutting board here, but I'm going to use my Pampered Chef plastic one on top of it because I'm going to cut some chicken. So I got this chicken. I'm going to do a little shout out to Cotton Cattle Company. They're out in Asbury, New Jersey, out of the western north, I guess it's like northish west New Jersey, almost to Pennsylvania. And this young man, Bryce, is like the nicest young guy, runs this organic. They're not labeled organic, you know, that's a whole nother ball of wax, but he does everything organically. Any feed he uses is non-GMO. He gives some love to the animals. They're all grass-fed and grass-finished, and you can go to Cotton Cattle, I think it's Cotton Cattle Co. or Cotton Cattle Company now. I forget the website, but anyway, look up Cotton Cattle Company, and you can order a sampler box so you can test out all their stuff. They have the best breakfast sausages. I saw this, in the sampler box came this, you know, country sausage. I'm like, what the hell is this? You know, I wasn't thinking breakfast. I was just thinking, you know me, it was one pack of a good Italian sausage and then this country sausage. I'm like, what is this? So finally I used up everything just about in the box and I was like, all right, let's try this sausage. I said, let's do it for breakfast. Oh my God, it was the most flavorful, yummy breakfast sausage you've ever had. It was so, so good. So I highly recommend it. Their Italian sausage is also very, very good. So this now was a pack of their chicken breasts that they call medium cut. So now I like my chicken really thin. These were probably, from the looks of them, cut in half once. So I'm gonna, because they're nice and big, I'm gonna go ahead. But you know, before I do this, I'm gonna go ahead and hone my knife a little bit just to make sure it's, you know, sharp. I don't know why. Chicken is soft, right? Why does it dull a knife? I just don't understand. But anyway, I just sharpened my knife the other day. Always, when you sharpen your knives, always wipe them off to make sure there's no little shavings on them. Okay, I'm gonna move this over just so you can see what I'm doing. So when I cut my chicken breast, now if this was a whole one, it would obviously be taller. This one I'm just gonna cut once in half because it's already been cut in half. So you just take it, you hold it really firm, put the knife in the middle and cut across. Now, you can feel, don't be afraid, you can feel when the knife is coming up or down because your hand is on it firmly, and you can feel if the knife's going straight. If you're getting down to the end and it feels like it's coming up, just wiggle. I'm gonna show you. Just wiggle your knife a smidgen, okay, like this, but not that much, just a hair, and you can get a nice, flat, straight chicken fillet. Now look at this. Ba-boom. There's one. Now I'm touching with one hand because I always keep one hand clean. So let's do a couple more. So now what I'm gonna do is season these before I start to cook them. And let me turn this pan on now because I want it to get nice and hot. Is it on? It's on. Well, that was a quiet light that time. All right. So I'm just gonna take these. They don't have, doesn't matter if they're squished together a little bit because I'm just seasoning them on the one side. The other side I'll season in the pan. Okay, and then these I'll just season on this thing here. Okay, so what I do is I just sprinkle, and I'm telling you, this stuff comes out so good. And I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna do with these once they're done. So, I'm pepper, black pepper, white pepper, paprika, whatever you want. Make sure you got some salt. Doesn't need to be a lot, but just enough. You got to give it some flavor. And you know, any amount of salt you put on isn't even close to what, you know, frozen stuff is stores. Now this is some really good organic garlic, granulated garlic. I don't use it often, but on something like this, it's really quick and easy because you don't want to, you know, you don't want all these bumps. This is going to be like for sandwiches, for salads, for the thing we're making today. I'll tell you in a second. Okay, and now those are ready. And now I'm going to take a little bit of, notice the chicken hand is still here. Little drizzle of olive oil. A little brush of the, I probably should have used the big griddle, but it's over there and you can't see it as good. I can pick this up and show you. Okay. So now, let's see how hot is that. Let's see if it's gonna sizzle yet. Oh yes. So we're gonna stick these on seasoned side down, okay? Because then when they're in the pan, we're gonna season the second side. So a little pepper, a little garlic, and a little salt. Now you can pick whatever seasonings you want, by all means. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a couple of them with my my FreshJax, which the link is on the top of my page. My FreshJax, hold on. My lemon rosemary. Rosemary, lemon, sea salt. So this one I'm not gonna put any salt on because it's got it in it already. Now, you're gonna see these, the edges start turning white. And because I cut them so thin, you'll see little spots that are turning white. So let them go for a minute. Let them get a little grill marks. Let them really cook on that side and then flip them over. So this was the first one. Oh, yes. I could have probably let them get a little darker grill marks, but that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this little piece in. That was like the last. Now, you know, try to get them crossways on the grill because then it makes it prettier, but I stuck this one on the end, so it's okay. So what's good about doing this? Now, you've got this thin grilled chicken. Well, we're gonna make some grilled chicken with the bruschetta topping on it for today's lunch. I'm doing a week, okay, I'm not gonna do much pasta this week because I really need to like kickstart something here. So we're doing a week of like not much carbs, so just pay attention. This is actually Italian style, a great secondo, a second dish, your meat dish with a little bit of vegetables on top of your tomato bruschetta. It's also a really nice evening meal, especially after you've had your big carb meal, your pasta dinner at midday. So at night, have some nice thin chicken breast, maybe a little salad or bruschetta topping. So good. It also, when it's like this, is completely ready to put in a container in the refrigerator And it's perfect for sandwiches. Put a little balsamic on it, some lettuce and tomato, a little piece of cheese if you want, and it is a nice sandwich. It's also just as it is, put it in a container with some of the bruschetta topping on it and send it off for lunch to work or school. But these are already cooked and they're always tasty. Honestly, I used to keep, containers of them in the refrigerator. The kids would go in and just eat them like snack food, kind of like jerky, but it was chicken and it wasn't jerky. So look at the pretty grill marks, okay? These are definite, and you also have, there's never a question as to whether they're done, unless you have like a fat end. So these are definitely cooked. I'm gonna put them in this platter here. We've got ready to go. Turn this one over. I'm gonna give it a little bit more oil. Now it is, oops, stuck my lid. There we go. I'm gonna spread this around. And I'm gonna put the rest of these one by one in here. So now what I was gonna show you, this extra tool, get yourself one of these heavy weights. Okay, this is great when you're making a steak. You know how sometimes when you're cooking and the meat kind of curls up a little? Put this on there for a minute, it keeps it flat. It's also good on your bacon. It's also got grill design on it. So you can put this in the grill first, let it heat up, and then it's grilling from both sides. Let's see what I have. No, I have a smaller one also that's round. So it just depends on what you're doing. All right, that one's done. That one's done. My little test taster there. Little test taste piece. I'm going to put that in the corner. When it cools off, I'm going to try it. Now these that I just put in, I didn't season yet real quick before they get all dry. You want to season them while they're, wet, so to speak. Okay. And then real quick, I can put this one in here. This one in here. I have one, of course, I've got it full and one piece left. So that's all right, because this one is thin. So that one's going to cook fast. Oh, those are pretty. Let that one go one more minute. All right, let's turn this baby over. Look at the beautiful grill marks. Oh, drip, drip. Looks like I didn't season these last two. Oh, wait a minute. Let's put a little bit of the rosemary on this one. We'll put it on the last one too. Oh, that smells good. Something different. Okay. And this one, I'm going to throw in here. Last one. Let me just grease this up. There's a little bit of oil left on there. There we go. And now we're going to season that one with the rosemary, salt, and a little pepper, and we're set. Okay. So I did start cutting up a little bit of the tomato already, but here's what I want to share with you. First of all, I keep my tomatoes out because, in the refrigerator they're not as good. And for some reason, the top half of them all, where and these were local organic tomatoes, they started getting yucky on the top, but the rest of the tomato was fine. So I cut it off, and I'm going to turn this off. That one fat piece can cook for an extra second, but I've turned the heat off. Woo! Okay. So anyway, this is a great thing to do when you've got all of a sudden, you know how it goes, you buy some tomatoes and they don't go bad one at a time. All of a sudden, they're starting to go. So you're going to take them, cut the bad part off, make sure that there's no bad part on the inside. And then I'm just going to slice them this way. It's actually kind of nice when you cut the top off because they don't roll. And then I'm just going to, now the end piece, because it's got a rolly side, and it's also thicker to cut through, I always do by itself. And then the middle pieces, I do a couple of them together. So you're just going to cut them down the middle, and then you're basically just dicing this stuff here. Now, depending how seedy your tomatoes are, some people take the seeds out, some people don't. You know what? I think that part of the juice from the inside of the tomato is part of what makes your bruschetta nice and juicy. Okay, there we go. That's all done. So, you know, yeah, that is personal preference, I'm going to tell you. Some people are very particular about the seeds. I don't want the seeds, you know, but if you use the Roma tomatoes, they really don't have as many seeds and then have less of that pulp. Now, I will tell you this. I did have this one beautiful giant tomato and a whole chunk of it was no good, so I had to really butcher it. But that's okay, because there's one little ugly piece of skin just because it was, you know, one of those pieces that gets ugly. Oops, that's not garbage. So I'm just going to slice and dice this piece. This one is actually really nice and red. I just kind of let it slide. I used the other ones over the weekend and this one was just sitting there. So we're gonna have two-tone tomatoes. So I'm just gonna slice and dice. And surprisingly enough, for a big fat round tomato, this didn't have, it's not that seedy either. Okay, so now we've got all this beautiful, let's get a spoon here. Oops. Got all those beautiful tomatoes. Okay, diced. Now, we're going to have fun with these. We are going to take some onion. Now, not everybody likes onion. You know, don't like chunks of it, but in a bruschetta, it's almost essential. So here's what you do for normal people, listen to me, normal people like onions. If you like regular onions, just dice them. I dice them really thin and really small. That way you get the essence of the flavor throughout without like a big chunk of something that somebody might not like. So you can dice this way. I think I just got a piece of onion in my eye, but that's okay. And we're just gonna cut them really thin. So it's like a real thin, so they're not diced as in they're not cube size, but they are cut in little teeny skinny little pieces. And if your knife is nice and sharp, and see how I'm holding this? I'm almost holding this like a claw. Wait a minute, wrong, wait, yeah, there you go. Kind of claw-like, so hold it, there we go, claw. Then I'm holding it kind of with my very clean hands and fingernails that I barely have any of. All right, I'm not gonna use all of that because that's a pretty good amount, especially when you see how little they are. They're gonna spread around the bruschetta very nicely. A little green piece. So we're gonna throw this in. And again, it's up to you how much you wanna put in. If you only have one small onion and it's only half of the amount that I just put in, then just use it. Again, this is a throw together dish, not a, oh my God, I don't have a recipe for bruschetta. For Pete's sake. Tomatoes, onions, and whatever else you heck you feel like putting in it. Okay, sorry. Now, beautiful basil, basilico. I've got some parsley here. So you can do that. You can throw in some garlic if you like. It's going to add more of a bite to it. So we could do some of that. Let's do a little piece of garlic. You can smush up. Now you can do it completely without garlic. A lot of bruschetta is just the onion. So we're just gonna take the little root end off, take the piece of skin that comes off with it. See how it all sticks to the knife? Oh, we're gonna make that one trash. That's big pieces, that's garbage. Okay, all my herbs over here. Give it a smush. And just keep cutting over it and over it and over it until it's little teeny weeny. I'm not gonna put, like I said, and you could totally use like a garlic press here. I could have done that, but I have a knife. This is a great dish to take to a party, get some nice Italian bread. You take a little bowl like this full of this bruschetta topping and yum. So we're gonna start stirring this up. We've put no dressing on it yet. That's the oil. And no salt. So right now it's just stuff that's mixed together. But once you put the salt in it, it starts to dry out all the juices and it makes all that yumminess that soaks into the bread. So we're gonna take a little bit of basil and we're gonna take a little bit of parsley. We're just gonna chop them all up together. Make sure you just got leaves. Because it's just prettier. And of course it adds a beautiful taste. Little flavors. All right, what the heck, there we go. So we're gonna take all this, we're gonna roll it up into like the biggest basil leaves here. And we're just gonna chop it really fine. So this will come out in little strips. You can cut the strips into little teeny weeny pieces if you want, or I think they call this chiffonade, whatever. It's look how pretty it is. Little teeny skinny pieces. Actually, I'm gonna leave it like that because that looks really pretty. Of course, it sticks to your fingers, but you know, there we go. Now, you can, if you want, put a little oregano in. I'm not this time. I don't want oregano on this one. I put it out. You know, I pull everything out, then I decide as I go. And very important now is my beautiful salt and pepper. So we're gonna put a little black pepper in, and you can totally put hot pepper in this. But some salt. You know, one of my favorite dishes in Italy, I'll make it for you one day, even though it's really not a lesson, it's just something to share with you, but it's called pane pomodoro. And this is basically what this is a take on. Pane pomodoro is literally bread and tomatoes. And all you do is take a big fat slice of tomato, you put it on a big fat slice of Italian bread. Look how pretty this is already. Haven't even put any olive oil in it. So now we're gonna put the oil in it, and this is gonna make everything just come together. Extra virgin olive oil only. You put any other oil in here, and might as well just throw water in it. It's gotta have. Now, what's most important about doing this is letting it sit for a little bit. Okay, you let it sit, and it just, oops, there's a stem. Huh. Oh gosh, that's so yummy. So let me taste a piece. Needs a pinch of salt. Just, that's all. Okay, so let me just show you something really pretty here. So if you want to make a nice meal, nice part of your meal, you take, you know, they're still hot. Take one or two of these. Let's take two. We're gonna make it a dinner, okay? Now, just because there's some, I'm just gonna drizzle a little smidge of olive oil on top. They're already seasoned with salt, pepper, and garlic. A little bit of oil. And now I'm just gonna take some of this and put it on top. Oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. Now, we'll do this, we'll be fancy. Let's be fancy schmancy. We take a little piece of fresh basil and put it on top. Boom! Look at that, how pretty, right? Look at that. So now what you have here, you've got bruschetta that you can put on bread rounds and have as an appetizer or a party food, finger food, whatever. You can also have, with some grilled chicken, you can have a meal. With your plain grilled chicken, you can now put these in the refrigerator. You can use them for today or tomorrow. You can use them as snacks. You know, you can just pick up a piece. Oh, wait, where's my little teeny piece? There it is. Oops, get a little teeny taster. I love the little edges because they get a little caramelized and they got that flavor. I'm telling you, it's so simple. Now, if you grill chicken plain and if you grill chicken fat, gosh, it's like plain is blah, and when you cook it thick, it's dry. So then you're like chewing and chewing. Come on, tell me, how many of you have had dry chicken? Write down dry chicken. I've had dry chicken. Testimonial, put your hand up. You know, chicken is so easy to make dry, but for some reason, every time you get these little pieces and you cut them thin, it's so easy to tell when they're cooked. So it's easy to know when to take them off the heat. And they're like almost never dry unless you like totally leave them on there till they're leather, and that's a different story. Look how it's falling apart. This is, can you see how easy I'm chewing? I swallowed that already. Sorry, but I'm saying, my point is that it didn't take me chewing for 10 minutes to make it soft enough to swallow. These little pieces, just that little bit of salt, pepper, and garlic, I love the black pepper, really makes it tasty. It's thin enough and moist enough you can enjoy it, You can make a meal out of it. You can make a snack out of it. You can make a sandwich out of it. I used to always, as my kids were growing up, I almost always had chicken breasts like this. I will take some of these and freeze them as they are, because I can just take them out the night before and they're ready for breakfast time when I'm making lunches. You can take them out in the morning, have them for a sandwich for lunch, take them out anytime during the day and have them ready for dinner. So it's kind of like utilitarian food that you can always have, and it's healthy and yummy. And this is the beautiful stuff that brings your family to the table. And you know, like my t-shirt says, you know, if you can't find the sunshine, be the sunshine. Tell me this doesn't look like sunshine on a plate. Okay, it's not yellow, but still red sunset or sunrise or something. Anyway, but you know, it really is important that we do things that are nice. You know, I was reading the news this morning and they're talking about this, you know, racism culture and this and that. All these things that are so digging into our past, stirring the pot, as I like to say, you know, because, you know, when you stir the burnt part of the sauce pot, the burnt goes throughout the whole pot. But the thing is, we have burnt on the bottom. I'm comparing this burnt sauce to society. We've got the burnt sauce on the bottom. Now, we can leave it there on the bottom. We can pour the good stuff out and start fresh. Do we really, now this is just me questioning and putting a thought out there. Do we really need to stir the pot? Can't we start fresh today and say, you know what? I'm just going to decide to be nice. I'm going to be this, wait a minute. Let's do it. Be the sunshine, you know? You gotta be, you know what? I got another t-shirt that says be the sunshine, really big. I'll wear that next time. But anyway, but this one, if you can't find the sunshine, don't stir the pot, because you're not gonna find the sunshine in the bottom of the burnt pot. But if you just be the sunshine. And like my coffee mug or my tea mug says today, love like crazy. Isn't that what we should all be doing? Shouldn't we all just love like crazy? Make good food, bring your family to the table. This is a totally shareable, yummy goodness. Like I could totally put some of, you know how I like to put things in jars? You put some of this in a jar and you take it to your neighbor with a half a loaf of bread and say, hey, I just thought I'd share with you something you can have for an appetizer tonight. Or invite them over and share it with them here. But the point is, it's so easy to love like crazy. The people that need it the most are usually the people you don't want to love. You know, when I was a kid, there was a song, well, it's from way before my childhood time, but everybody knows, remember that song, Love Makes the World Go Round? It really does. And look at our world, like doesn't even seem like it's spinning right now. If anything, it's spinning out of control, but it's not spinning beautifully the way it's supposed to. So let's love and make the world go round. Let's love like crazy. Let's share the love. Let's bring people to the table. Let's save the world one table at a time together. Do me a favor, follow my stuff, because I am pushing this back to the table movement, this revival of the Rosetto effect, which is basically how people nourish each other. We need to nourish each other. So let's nourish. I'm gonna go call Pasquale and say, hey, it's a lunchtime. Let's have some chicken bruschetta. So, mwah, I love you guys. I will always show you love, because I really do truly think that there are more nice people in the world. It's just that the not nice people squeak louder and the squeaky wheel always gets the oil. Well, I say that us nice people need to squeak louder. Okay? So, again, have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time. Ciao, ciao.